Today on the show, we talk about how you can raise your labor rates and actually reduce your declines. Mia explains to us what service advisors really mean when they say certain things. I confront Mia about ruining my Uber rating, and I explain how scare tactics can actually work. That and much, much more coming up on Service Drive Revolution! Christian, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much. Better than ever.
Miss Mia is with us again. How are you doing, Miss Mia?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
How was your drive-in?
My drive-in? It was good. It was about 5 minutes long. I had to walk down the stairs. It was great.
It took you 5 minutes to walk down the stairs?
I put Mia in a Uber on my account, you know?
It's dangerous.
Yeah, and so I'm really secretly worried about my Uber rating.
I was pretty horrible to the Uber driver.
I was just going to say, what's Leah going to do to ruin your Uber rating?
Yeah, what did you do to ruin my Uber rating? What did you say
have
to
you
the
ever
driver?
do you know what hornets are? So where you take like a rubber band and you put it around your finger and then you fold a piece of paper over it and then you go.
You call that a hornet?
Yeah.
And you did that to the Uber driver?
The back of his head the whole time. Because I purposely wanted to ruin your score.
Great.
No, in reality, I was sitting in the back trying not to vomit because I have motion sickness. So.
Was the driver like taking the corners really fast?
Yeah, he was a crisp driver.
You're probably not used to the Los Angeles traffic.
Not even remotely.
Yeah, it's a little different. Do you get motion sickness on the train?
No. And I don't get motion sickness flying either.
I thought that was a segue to a joke, didn't you? Tell us, can we start off with a joke, Christian? We need a little levity.
All right.
Can we start off with a joke?
I'll do what I can.
I haven't heard a good one from you yet today.
No, it's been a rough day. So, one of the things I think that women would say is probably one of the most difficult things is childbirth, right? Like this is hard on.
Women hang their hat on childbirth, like nothing a man could ever do, Mia, is comparable to childbirth. It's like you don't understand what pain is until you give birth to a child,
right.
And then that's been instilled in us since, I don't know, I was a little kid.
Oh,
do you disagree?
Well, how would you ever know? I don't have the option to give child, like...
Right. But what if there was? So what if there was a machine that could help you to transfer the pain from the woman onto the man, onto the father of the child? So this happened once, right? So this couple's in the hospital, and the man, kind of being the macho man that he is, he's like, honey, I bet I could take the pain of childbirth, right? I bet you, if I can take the pain of childbirth, I'll never have to change a diaper, right? So it's kind of the agreement they have. And the doctor's like, funny that you should say that. I've got a machine.
Okay.
And the machine transfers the pain by percent from the woman onto the father.
So from the mother to the father.
From the mother to the father. So here we are. It's labor time. It's go time. So the doctor hooks up the machine, turns it to 20%.
So 20% of the pain is going from mom to dad.
Right. So two things happen.
Okay.
Mom says, oh, that feels a little bit better. Dad says, that's not that bad. It doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
So he's like,
which, to my point, we don't know, really, that it's the worst pain ever.
Right.
Like, I've had a kidney infection before, and they say that's the closest thing to childbirth, but might be worse.
Well, with this gentleman, it wasn't worse. So he's like, no problem. Turn it up a little bit. Go to 40%. So mom feels way better.
Mom feels 40% better.
She feels 40% better. And then dad's standing there like a rock, stoic. I don't even know if I feel anything. 40%, I don't know what women are talking about, that childbirth's difficult, right? So he's like, turn it up a little bit more. 60%, 80%, finally 100%. Baby rolls out because mom can't feel a thing at this point, right?
Just walks out.
Yep.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Caught him on the slide, and beautiful, beautiful baby boy born. So 2 days later, they go home, walking up the porch, mailman laying dead
So the joke is that the baby was actually the mailman's.
The product of the mailman. That's right.
And he's dead on the porch.
Right. The good news is that Dad doesn't have to change diapers anymore because he won the bet.
And probably moved out.
Probably got a lawyer.
Let's assume there are some more things that went on with that. But yeah, that was a great joke.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
It would have been funnier if it was the first time I'd heard it.
Well, Mia, we are equal opportunity jokesters around here. Like, we'll recycle it if it's good.
Let's see what Mia has in the comedy grab bag.
She is pretty funny.
Today, Mia, in the comedy grab bag, we're going to talk about what advisors really mean.
Okay.
So if I'm allowed to speculate, what you're saying is advisors say one thing, but what they really mean is something else.
Yeah.
So like people from New York are different than people from California, right? Have you ever seen that cartoon where somebody in New York is greeting somebody and they say F you, but the little thought bubble says good morning? Mm-hmm. People in California say good morning, but their thought bubble says F you.
Yep.
It's like that. It's a yin and a yang. Mm-hmm. You're going to interpret advisor language for everybody.
Yes.
Because they might have it wrong. They might think that what the advisor is saying really is what they mean.
It never is.
But the magic is reading between the lines and understanding that's not at all what they mean.
Yep.
Okay. So now we get to judge your comedy.
Uh-huh. So, I kind of want you guys to maybe guess, too. I want to get your thoughts on what they really mean, and then I'll tell you my thoughts. So, when an advisor says, no problem at all, what do you think that means?
No problem at all. Who are they saying no problem at all? To a customer.
Mm-hmm.
To a customer. No problem at all. No problem at all. I mean, usually that probably means it's a problem. It's an inconvenience.
Yeah. I'm in trouble.
Don't you hate it when people say no problem?
Because it's assuming there was a problem in the first place?
Yeah.
Like other people would think it's a problem, but it's not.
Or the customer's like, I didn't say it was a problem, but okay.
Yeah. So no problem at all means there's a problem, or it's an inconvenience. Mm-hmm. It's a pain in the butt.
So what they're really saying is, it's definitely a problem, and I cannot wait for you to get out of my dealership.
We were pretty close.
Yeah, you guys pretty much hit that one on the head. Yeah.
What do we win?
A cookie. I don't have them, but
he's
I'm
diabetic.
sure
He can't eat it. Are you trying to kill him?
Diabetic now? Goodness gracious, no.
I thought you were. I was actually like, oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right. I'll get over it.
He's a victim of a plumper.
All right, what about this one? Let me see what I can do.
I'm never calling you back.
Let me see what I can do. I'm going to go around the corner for 5 seconds out of your view and then come back and say, I can't help you.
I actually like that one better.
Oh,
mine.
Look, see, now it's not just about recycled jokes anymore, is it, Mia?
No, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I'm getting the service manager involved because I am sick of you.
Wow. Okay.
It's more like what they want to say, but
it's
they can't.
The pass off?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, okay.
Hey, it goes both ways.
All right.
Managers do it too. What about, this is a good one. What about this one? Let me check on the status of your car and I will update you shortly.
It means you caught me at a weird time. Your car hasn't even seen the shop. I have no idea what's going on. And I'm just saying this to get you off the phone.
Okay. I think, so you're on the phone. I'm thinking it's a waiter in person. And all I can think of is there a really easy way for me to ask what your name is? Because I forgot.
That's a good one. And it's so true. It's so true.
What kind of car did you have again?
Are you sure it was me you talked to?
No, this is how you do it. Off topic. This is how you do it because this does happen. This happens. You forget and you're like, I don't remember who you are. You just go up to them and you're like, I think I might have spelled your last name wrong in the computer. Can you verify for me?
Ooh,
it works every time.
I kind of like that.
Yeah. And then they're like, it's Smith. Well, I just double checking, you know?
So is Smith still SM?
Or is there like an E on the end, maybe?
Smythe, yeah, there we go.
But no, let me check with the tech and I will give you an update shortly, is what you said pretty much. It means, yeah, your car hasn't even been pulled into the shop
Not even.
Not even remotely close.
What, you
Still on the service
dropped it
drive.
off this morning? We won't look at it until tomorrow.
It hasn't even been dispatched yet.
Yeah. By the way, I would walk out to the lot or the shop and write down the license plate and look the customer up before I asked them what their name was.
Yeah,
That's
that's like
smart too.
that's
In
like
general.
last, like if you are really just can't figure it out kind of a thing.
I'd figure it out somehow. I'd be so embarrassed. That's pretty good though.
This one's probably one of my favorites, is we ran into a bit of a problem.
Oh no.
Lot damage?
What do you think?
Your car fell off the lift and we're trying to see if we can replace it before you actually figure it out.
Yeah, you're both right. It basically means, so the technician broke your car and I don't know how to tell you. And the fact that I'm being tasked with the responsibility to tell you is absolute BS. Because I shouldn't have to tell you. Yeah. Or like a, please don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah.
Can I blow your mind for a second?
You probably won't, but yeah, go ahead.
No. So if I was an advisor and I had bad news to give, I would want to be the one to give it.
And why is that?
Because when you fix their problem, they're indebted to you.
You're the hero.
Yeah.
Well, most of the time those problems become bonding agents. Like,
Tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and they become the most loyal. It's really not, in a lot of ways, not the mistake that determines the outcome of that situation. It's how you handle it.
Yep. And I do agree with you guys. I've never had a problem being the person to give the bad news because I seem to have a knack for delivering bad news. I have good bedside manner, I've been told. I guess is what
Which
that
usually
is.
means you have empathy.
Yeah. And the times that I have left it up to the service manager, it's very cringy. So yeah, it's you just get on their side and you're like, let's
it's
figure this
interesting
out.
that you wouldn't want the manager. I can see that though. Most of the managers, I had one manager that I worked for, Jerry, and he was just a really good guy, and he would talk, a lot of the customers just knew him too. He had a lot of equity with them, but yeah, a lot of managers wouldn't be as good as some of the advisors, I think.
Well, a lot of managers, at least in my experience, none of them had ever written service before. They've been managers in other industries or even other departments. Like they used to be a sales manager or they managed a bowling alley. So now they're a service manager, but they've never actually written service. I've very few places I've worked at, the service manager had ever actually written service.
How do you think that job interview went? So tell me about your experience. Yeah,
I manage people.
I used to run the alley over at AAA Bowling. When can you start? I feel like you can run my service department. Like
It's a true story.
I just fly on the wall for that interview. It would have been so interesting.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let me crunch some numbers and get back to you.
We don't have a special pricing guide. You're going to have to go to parts and wait. I called parts already and I got parts hold.
Parts hold.
I mean, that is one of the biggest sins, is that with all the technology out there and everybody's like in love with tablets and all that, that a lot of places can't just put together the idea of having a digital pricing guide that you can pull it up by the VIN number and give a customer a price. Everybody in parts service should be able to give somebody a price. And they're like, well, the information's not accurate. And you're like, well, make it accurate. What I always do is just say, I'll give you $10 every time you find one that's wrong. So then the advisor's like, we'll bring you the ones that are wrong and you can fix it, right?
That's genius.
Yeah, well, I mean, it drives everything.
Yeah.
But it's so hard sometimes for advisors to put together an estimate that it just gets past them. They don't have time.
Yeah. Or it's the mindset, especially if they're commission, I'm not getting paid to put this together, so I'm just going to not.
So what's it mean?
I was thinking of it from like the customer's asking for a discount kind of a mindset and being like, okay, well, giving you a discount cuts into my commission, which affects my paycheck, but it's better than losing the whole job. That's what we wish we could say, but we can't. The next one I have is, if you weren't completely satisfied with your visit, please let us know beforehand so we can take care of it. I think that one's pretty self-explanatory.
You're begging for CSI?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. AKA, if you give me a bad survey, I lose my bonus. Please don't give me a bad survey.
Don't you think that it diminishes your value to a customer if you talk about your bonus?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But that's why I'm saying I would never actually say that.
Yeah, so it's mirrored.
It's what you wish
here,
you could say.
But that's what they're hearing. But that whole thing right there is like, I have the vision of the advisor like holding onto the customer by the leg as they're walking out of the car.
Please
Like,
don't give me a bad
screw
survey.
me on the survey.
Which goes back to proper coaching, if the situation allows for it.
I have seen advisors actually where they say that pretty early on and they actually mean it.
What?
Where they mean, if you're not completely satisfied.
Oh yeah.
Could you let me know? Because I'd love to fix it.
I feel like that word track, that's one of the very few word tracks that, like, to me, actually, that's not true, not one of the few that only works, but it's actually one of the most genuine word tracks that you can use. At least in my opinion. Because
if you're not happy, let me know. I want to fix it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's, it's not the, let me see what I can do. It's like, hey, if there's a problem, let's figure it out. Like, so that one actually does seem genuine to me. But there is that fear in the back of your mind, Like, I wish I could just tell you right now that if you didn't like the coffee in the waiting area and you put it on your survey, I can't feed my kids. So please don't do that.
Let's go to the extreme. Yeah.
I mean, that's what gets the point across.
I'll be living in the streets.
You could try that with a customer. Like, hey, you're gonna get a survey from the manufacturer. It asks some questions that have nothing to do with me. I'm just letting you know. If you don't rate me perfect, I'm getting evicted. So
Yeah.
just
I'm
take
getting
that as you
evicted.
will.
There also be
kids
capital
won't eat.
punishment involved.
Yeah. I'll be homeless.
Put in front of a firing squad.
Yep. That went real dark real quick. And the last one, your oil change should only take 30 to 45 minutes.
It'll take 30 to 45 minutes once it actually gets to a tech, but you're probably looking at about 2 hours.
And don't forget the 55-minute car wash.
Should you want it watched?
We could do a whole show on the anatomy of the 3-hour oil change.
Oh my gosh,
Right?
we should. Oh man. Yeah, that's pretty much.
We got it right?
Pretty much, yeah. Like, hey, so we're at least half a car behind in the shop right now. I'm hoping that you're not religiously keeping track of the time and won't realize that it's probably going to be closer to an hour to an hour and a half.
So half a car means 20 minutes?
20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's best case scenario. I've never worked at a shop that was on time ever.
I've never seen one get done in 20 before.
Nope.
I used to work at a dealership where the oil change thing was 30 minutes or it's free, but it was 30
Domino's?
minutes once we started on it.
Yeah, so when does the clock
I
start?
explain that to customers. So they come in with this coupon. They'd be like 30 minutes or it's free.
Go sit in the waiting room for an hour and a half. All right, sir. Your 30 minutes just started.
Well, they would line them up on the other side of the drive, so you point and you go, so there's 5 ahead of you. I'll tell you when your 30 minutes starts.
That doesn't make sense, because if you actually, like, an actual physical oil change, if you're just doing the oil change, takes 15 or 20 minutes, if that. But obviously you have to get it in the shop, and you have to do the inspection, you have to get it on the lift, So yeah,
check
that's
tire
stupid.
pressures,
Check,
all that other good stuff,
do the whole
right?
inspection and
Top
everything.
fluids.
It was funny to me at this dealership because you had an hours per hour bonus in the pay plan, which is archaic, and I don't advise an hours per hour bonus, but the advisors would avoid oil changes, so they created an advisor 99 that all the oil changes went into, and then they divided those up amongst everybody, and then that was what affected your hours per hour, right?
What? You can upsell on.
Listen,
oil
we're not
changes.
talking about Stanford business degree.
This place
running
is
this
thin
place.
on scruples.
Yeah,
Okay, gotcha.
but that's the same place where it was 30 minutes or it's free. So
They're really just
these
grasping.
2 kids, and what I did is my team leader would come over and inspect any of mine, and so because I had the only team leader that would do it, Todd was his name. He was the greatest. He would come over and inspect mine. And so a lot of mine got pulled out of 99, right? Because if you sold something, you would change it to your number. So it was just funny. I don't know. I wanted Todd to inspect everybody.
I want to know who advisor 99 is.
Yeah.
It's nobody. I don't know. I feel like working under that kind of pressure is
We made a lot of money.
really.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'd give the oil change
I was
away
like,
and sell them all the rest of the stuff.
I was early 20s. Like, I think I was 23. And I was making like $1.20. I mean, for 23,
That's almost a dangerous amount of money for someone in their early 20s, I think.
Really?
I probably would have done horrible things with that at
Like what?
23. I would have bought
Like hookers and blow or what?
No, motorcycles, boats, all the horrible things to invest in is what I would have done at 120K at 23.
No, that's normal. But I didn't do any of that.
No.
The hookers and blow.
Well, you did or you didn't do the hookers?
Oh, I've never tried anything like that. I'd be scared. I mean, my mom did a good job of raising me because I remember when I was in high school, this basketball player died. He was like the kid coming out that was going to be number 1 in the draft. I forget his name. There's been documentaries on him. But he did cocaine and died.
Wow.
And he was drafted by, I don't know, the Celtics or somebody. He was going to the NBA. And my mom, like, you try it once, you die. Like, that was my mom's thing. And it worked. Like, I was scared of
Are you
any
talking
of
about
that.
Hank Gathers?
Maybe, I don't know. But he was like the number 1 prospect coming out of the NBA draft. And he went back home.
And then just one time.
Yeah, well.
One time is all it takes.
That's the way my mom framed it.
Yeah.
But
Which
I
is
was always
smart of your
scared.
mom.
Like, I just imagined doing it and then my heart blowing up.
Yeah.
Because the kid had a heart attack.
Wow.
Good parenting, though. Scare your kids.
Yeah, that's great.
That's where scare tactics work.
Yeah.
Not on the
I
service
think
drive.
It
See what I did
definitely worked. I always think that the best way to quit hard drugs is never to try it, probably.
Yeah.
Because
it
it's
works,
probably
for sure.
really good. But I did have a conversation with somebody not that long ago where I was like, have you ever tried? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, have you ever tried? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, you ever tried meth? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, really? Like, yeah. I'm like, what is it like? They're like, it's great. They're like, it's great. You don't want to, like, it's great.
Like, stay away from it. It's
Yeah,
great.
it's great. It was like,
That's
so
a
funny.
really bad way to get somebody to stay away from meth. Holy crap.
Well, they only did it once, and that was like it scared them because it was so great.
Yeah, I'd have
Yeah.
to guess most people
It's the kind of
can't do
person
that.
you would
Yeah.
never think would do that. I
Yeah.
don't know, but not for me.
Yeah.
No, bro. You know what I'm spending my money on?
No.
Drumsticks and cymbals.
I thought you were going to say something really pretentious and be like, I was investing in my future.
No,
I was like Microsoft.
my band-
42.
my
Bitcoin.
band would pull up to shows in like a really cool rented like van. Like we had the cool van we rented. Like
Was it like a shag and wagon with like the shag carpeting and the...
no,
No,
it was
they
like
did the- I
the
bet they did the white
Enterprise,
one.
like
Kidnapper
the
van?
big white one. No, like a, you know.
Like a panel van, it's white, and like you could, if you had a family of 12, you could put them in there, like it would have.
Yeah,
four
but
rows
then
of
the
seats.
other
You could
half
pull
of it,
them
you can
out.
put all the gear.
Yeah,
Oh, gotcha.
I got the picture in my head.
Yeah,
I like
there's-
the idea of the.
There's
shag and
nothing
wagon.
like 7 dudes crammed into a van.
Yeah, but I bet you
touring
always
around.
made it. You know, everybody else had vehicles that would break down on the way.
Well,
to the-
before that, we'd have to caravan.
Yeah.
In different, So that's what I was spending my money on, stuff like that. Stupid, but
Not really. I
Should've-
don't think it's stupid.
wish I would have bought Bitcoin back then.
Oh, I bought a house at 23. Now that I think about it.
Good for you.
Well, I lost it in one of my many divorces, but
One of your many
yeah,
divorces?
at one point in time.
Wait,
That's episode
Okay.
162.
Do you have any more on your list?
no, that's it.
Oh, I like that list. That's
That was awesome.
pretty funny. Okay, let's talk about raise your labor rate, get less declines. What do you think I mean by that, Mia?
What
If
I
you
think-
raise your prices,
You'll get less
you could have
declines.
less declines. Why do you think that is?
I think that it kind of goes hand in hand with work smarter, not harder kind of a thing, which to me, people equate quality with high dollar amount or higher dollar amounts, right? So something that is more expensive, people are automatically going to assume that it's better quality, right? So if you have a higher labor rate, people are going to assume you do better work, which I would hope you do. And thus you're probably attracting customers that know the investment that they need to make and are willing to spend the money.
It's not what I mean at all.
No. Well, I'm curious.
So if you go into a service department and you have a lot of declines, and I ask the service advisors, why are customers declining? 100% of the time, what is the answer?
They're not asking for the sale.
No.
They're not telling you that. I'm going to give you a hint. It's price.
It's
They're
price.
gonna-
The advisors
The
will say it's
advisors
the
will
price.
say the customers
Gotcha.
don't do it because of the price, because it's
Because
too
they couldn't
expensive.
afford it. Yeah, gotcha.
So the advisors say that.
Yeah.
But now if I go and call 10 customers that declined work, what are the customers going to say?
Nobody told me that.
Yeah. So this came up because Christian just experienced this, and same thing. You call the customers. You're like, "Hey, I see Mia, you were in here last week, and we recommended brakes, and we're just trying to get better, understand what's going on. Be weird that somebody would decline brakes. Like you're okay with sliding into a school bus and killing a bunch of kids. Like it just was on my mind. I just wondered, like, Mia, you're okay? Like somebody's walking in a crosswalk and you're just gonna plow them over and kill them? What if that's a mother of 12 kids? You declined your brakes.
Why am I
right?
laughing at that?
You were
Jeffrey Dahmer only killed like 8 people.
Your car was here. We could have done it. You left it here all day.
This is
Would have been
escalating
easy.
so quickly.
Super easy. Now you're driving around with faulty brakes. You're going to have to make an appointment or go somewhere else, and then just doesn't. You seem like a smart person, Mia. It doesn't make sense to me.
Would you let me know the route you drive to work, because I want to avoid those streets at all costs?
You're a murderer. You're going to kill
die
somebody.
today.
But you call and you have this idea in your head that, oh, what's our price? You just automatically as a manager default to, oh, it's our price. You just think that, right? Nobody ever says price. They say, yeah, when I showed up to pick up the car, they told me I needed brakes. Or here's the one that, and I don't know if you experienced this, but I've experienced this numerous times, and I literally have to go for a walk. Just to comprehend and not overreact, not try to be funny, but the customers will say, what? I need brakes?
That is the
That's
worst.
the worst one.
The advisor just put it on the paperwork and closed it out. Or the tech put it in there and the advisor somebody closed it out. Customer was never told. And here we're thinking that it's about price. And so maybe the idea is raise your labor rate, get your effective labor rate up to where you can afford to have enough advisors that have enough time to call the customers. Stop having your advisors write 25 a day, slow it down, actually, have an effective labor rate that isn't from 1984,
Yep.
and run a healthy business that we're actually calling customers, and we're calling them. We have the best chance of getting the work or, doing the job when we call them early in the day, telling them at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock they're on their way to pick it up, or, it's not effective.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing, is raise your labor rate and get less declines. It's about getting the system dialed in to where we're communicating with the customers and then building trust. That's, the other equation here is that they have to trust and like us. But in a lot of situations, we get the drive fixed, we get the trust thing fixed, we're petting the dog, and it's the techs in the back end and that communication, which most of it falls on the advisors, but the techs are only going to recommend things and, run it up to the advisor if they believe they're going to call and sell it too.
Yeah.
So it's a trust system between the techs and the advisors.
And a lot of times I feel like advisors kind of set themselves up for failure because before they even call or, they get recommendations, And they immediately shut themselves down by saying like, well, this customer's not going to buy it anyways. I might as, there's no point in calling.
That's not your job. Your job is to tell them.
What's the worst thing they can do?
Present
Say
it.
no? Like, you're not going to get fired. Like,
Your sales closing is the same whether you tell them or not.
exactly.
I never looked at it like that when I was an advisor. I just looked at it like I was telling them the truth.
Yeah, it was my responsibility to exchange the information with them. I think that
Yeah.
that's another one that I think is horrible, and it's not as bad as the customer not knowing at all.
Is this a segue to a joke?
No, so this is actually really a thought out comment, believe it or not. I know everyone ready? Who are you? Ready? Yeah, good stuff. I love her. All right. It's so fun to have her around. So is when, we call the customers on the RO and they decline brakes, which let's say the brakes are almost metal to metal, and the advisor's worried about telling the customer bad news. So they're like, they told me I should do it next time. And it'd be clearly bad, tires are bald, brakes are completely worn out, and the advisor said, I should do it next time because they don't want to give them the bad news there.
It's so disrespectful to the customer's time.
It's not fair.
People don't have time. People are
dangerous,
picking up
too.
their kids. It's, pre-COVID, soccer practice, whatever. They don't have time. There's a lot of situations when I would overpay for something just not to have to sit there for 2 hours again.
Me too.
Yeah. That's insane to me it's almost the opposite of where you're overselling something that's not quite necessary. It's almost just as bad, but it's on the other side.
I would pay 4 times what I paid for my last colonoscopy to never have to do it again.
It's a horrible experience.
Why do I laugh at your jokes, but you refuse to laugh at mine?
That's not true. I've laughed at plenty of
That was funny. I would overpay for my colonoscopy? That's funny.
No, that's true.
It's pretty funny.
I
miserable
apologize to everybody for Christian's sense of humor that is clearly biased. We appreciate you tuning in, and we will see you next time on Service Drive Revolution. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Service Drive Revolution. We're uploading new stuff every day, so make sure you subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss out. If you have a question you'd like us to answer on the show, call 8333-ASK-SDR and we'll answer your question on the show. That's 8333-ASK-SDR. For special deals on our books and training, head over to offers.chriscollinsinc.com. Now that's offers.chriscollinsinc.com. I'm Chris Collins, and I'll see you in the next video.